Welcome to video 5. What we're going to do in this video is get our body blank traced, or actually our body design traced on our body blank, and we'll take a trip over to the bandsaw that I have, and we'll cut out the outside shape of the Star guitar. Now, just to recap, what we did was basically got two pieces of alder, and we created a seam here, and basically just clamped them with 4 long clamps, and then ran it through the thickness planer to come up with as close as we possibly could to 1 3/4 of an inch thickness. This is the thickness that we need to accommodate the type of tremolo bridge that we're using. So pretty much we just need our body blank, and by the way, this is alder, and then we need our template. And now typically what I would do is I like to give myself a little room around the outside of the body. I don't really like to get right up to the edge of the body blank. So, but we have an issue here of some bad grained wood right here. You can see that. It's a little crusty, but not to worry. This is actually good because I'm going to show you what process I use to make excuse me, a little bit of a customized repair there prior to getting the whole guitar done. So what we're going to do now, what I would like to do is run the center line here and run the body blank centered, but I'm thinking of getting the whole. No, I think what we'll do is we'll run it straight. We'll run it straight. Now it's really not crucial at this point to have center lines, but I do work off of a center line when I construct these guitars. I don't know if you can see this, but I've got a center line running on the body, which is a basic guide that I need, and it's on both sides. It's right there. I think what I'm going to do is just align this the best I can, and I'll deal with this upper part in another video. So I'd like to give myself at least 1/8 of an inch, or maybe even 1/4 of an inch of clearance. And one of the other things that I like to do is when I have this particular length of body blank for a reason, I like to have an extension at this point of the body, because when the neck pocket is routed and the neck is set on there, ultimately that back portion will be shaped, and we need to have wood there. Sometimes I've had to graph on pieces of lumber, but in this case, let's go ahead and try and get as much as we can off of this body blank. So it's a pretty basic thing to do. I think what I'm going by here, what I'm going to do is use 1/4 of an inch or a little bit less on this side, not so much here. Like I say, I'm trying to get the full length here, so I'm moving the body blank in that direction, or the template. So there, that's as far as I'm going to go with it. And all I do is get a Sharpie. Let's see here. Sometimes I'll match this center line with the seam that we have and just try and make the lines parallel. But it's really not necessary. I'll get it close, but it's not going to be accurately done here, because I want to make sure I can get the entire body on. As a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's go ahead and this is our seam line here. See if I can mark this. And we're going to get everything approximate. But you know, I want you to see what I'm doing here, and so hopefully I should be using pencil, although you can use pen. Pencil it easily sands off, and so as well with a pen. Now this is a totally unrehearsed video. This is just on the fly. It's just, let's just do it. So bear with me if I'm thinking along the way. And as I can see here, here's the center line on the body, and here's the center line on the body blank that we have. And I've got a distance of about 3/4 of an inch, but the point that I want to get at is that I'm keeping the body blank line parallel with the actual body template line as much as possible. It's not really important, and we might be getting a little close here on the edge, and that's okay. I've done it both ways to where sometimes I'm just like, I don't have wood to spare, and you know, and if I would have gotten a larger piece, maybe that stuck out another inch, then I would have had a little more room to work with. But this will work, and I'll show you why. Like I say, I want to get as much meat here. So I'm paralleling these two lines as best as possible. I got a top view here, I can see this, and I just need to kick this up in that direction. And right there it's close. I mean, that's all we need. This is going to be a solid body color anyway, so as long as we can route the periphery really close, we're going to be good. And you'll see the process as we go along. Okay, so that's about right. Now, what I'm going to do now is, okay, the marker, we have a little bit of a thickness from the center point to the outside casing, and it's about 1/4 of an inch. So it's going to give me what I need, and all I do is just butt it up to the, I kind of give myself 1/4 of an inch all the way around, as you can see. But the main thing is to have enough wood to do the complete route. And I'm just tracing. This is basically a rough trace, which will help me when I cut the body blank out on the bandsaw. Okay, now there we go. There's our rough dimension, and I'm just going to extend this out like so, and I'm going to extend this out as well. And that's all there is to it. It's just basically tracing. Now this is actually larger than the actual template size by about 1/4 of an inch, except for here and up here. But like I say, this is going to be good. I'm going to show you how I make that. We've got a lot of spare wood here, here, and here, and I can actually cut off a piece and flatten this out and then glue it on this side here, and we can cut that later. But we're going to get the basic rough cut on our bandsaw. So let me change things around here. Bear with me. Bingo! Here we are at the bandsaw. Let me just kind of... There we go. I kind of like doing videos in this crude form because, you know, it's just... The content is not my professionalism as far as how I'm videotaping, but it's more... The important thing is more of the content. So, you know, just hang with me here. We got plenty of lighting. Let's move that. Okay. Set that right there. And let's get some safety gear. Bada bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. There we are. Like I said, this is by no means anything professional. It's focus on the content, please. I ask you that. Okay, let's do a cut here. How does everything look? I think we'll be all right. All right, here we go. Let's cut away. there it is. It's pretty much cut out now. And, you know, you may have seen me do some relief cuts wherever I have sharp turns or tight corners. And, you know, these are little tricks that I've learned throughout the years, and when I was in wood shop or if I worked for another company. But you know, if you want to get more information on how to use a bandsaw, by all means, please go onto the internet and look up, you know, bandsaw skills. At least wear some eye goggles and a respirator, as well as there's one point that I'm going to give everybody, and but still I'd like you to look up safety operation of a bandsaw. You always want to have your guard down as low as possible. I mean, this is, for me, this is safe. And then you never really want to force the wood. Let the blade do the cutting. And never put your hands in, you know, behind the blade like this, right in this direction. Because if you were to slip, you're going to go right into that blade. And that's one of the reasons why you'd want to have this a little lower. You know, you're less likely to, with this thing down low, you're less likely to hit the blade, but there's still that chance there. Now you got to remember, if you're going to be following along in this build, you're going to be doing this at your own risk. Be very careful, and like I say, look up on the internet safety procedures and how to run these various pieces of equipment that I'm using. So far, I've used a thickness planer to bring the thickness of the body down, and then I've used this bandsaw. So along the way, I'll give you some little pointers, but you know, be cautious and be very alert. Also, too, when if somebody comes into the room and you're working and they call your name and you're cutting, never proceed to look at them while you're cutting, because you might end up cutting in the wrong direction, and you certainly don't want to get hurt by this machine. And let me tell you, it will hurt you bad. So be very, very careful. And like I say, all operations of machinery and these techniques are being shown to you sort of like for entertainment. And like I say, if you're using these machines, you're doing so at your own risk. So there we go. That is the blank cut out of the Star guitar. It's a very rough cut. And I think on the next video, which would be video number 6, what we'll be doing is the neck pocket route along with a single humbucking and a tremolo. I will be using a vintage style tremolo system, so we'll need to have a tremolo cavity and then also our control cavity. But I think we'll just focus on some of the top routes first. And now I know a lot of you may not have this machinery, and you may not have templates or the template material. The template material you can get at any large major wood supplier. You might be able to order some smaller pieces off the internet. But if you don't have these machines, perhaps you have a neighbor, a friend, or somebody who has them, and they can work with you in getting your project cut and routed and shaped. So I'm not going to go ahead and show a hand method of routing. There are many suppliers that on the internet that sell kits of templates, you know, humbucker templates, single coil templates, neck pocket templates, and they're using them with a hand router, and there's a special collet that goes on the hand router itself, which guides along the template that you may be using. But what I'm showing you is my methods, and you know, it's not the only method of how I make a guitar and what machines I use. It is a process that works very well for me. I'm familiar with it, and just join along, and I hope this will give you inspiration to continue on with the build. And so, if I'd like to remind you, some of you viewers may be new to my channel, and on this YouTube channel, the way to get here is Karl M. Sandoval / Sandoval Engineering. And by all means, subscribe to my channel. Share these videos with your buddies and friends and guitar builders, or guys that are really inspired and want to build their own guitar. It is possible. You just have to have the will, and be very careful. No matter what step you take, be very careful. Follow safety procedures. I will follow some, but maybe not all of them. But for me, I know what works and what keeps me safe, and it has been for all these years. Another point is I never really get overly confident on how to operate a piece of machinery. It's always like I go to it, the first couple of times, and I'm really careful about what I do, and I know where that blade is at all times, and I stay away from distractions, loose clothing, long hair, long beards. Keep them away from anything that's rotating or in a cutting blade process, because you certainly don't want to get caught. You don't want your beard getting caught either on here or the thickness planer or a sander or a grinder of any kind. Your loose clothing and maybe your long hair, your ponytail. Tie everything up. Keep it away from the actual cutting blades themselves, and you'll be good to go. So with that, please subscribe to my channel, and I appreciate everyone, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And until the next one, number 6, God bless and thank you.